Am I doing the right thing by putting my money into precious metals? Should I put it into gold or into silver? How do I know which one's the better deal right now? Time in the market is better than timing the market, but how do I know if I'm getting at a decent price? These are some of the questions I had as a beginning stacker, with just a few dollars picked up, looking to make my first purchase. I guess I could drive 50 miles to a coin shop and ask someone, but they've got a vested interest to sell. If you want to learn about a car, do you ask a car salesman or do you ask a mechanic? So hello, today is July 11th, 2025. The gold closing price was $33.54 and about 90 cents. Silver closing price was $38.32, which gives us a GSR of 87.5. Platinum closed at $13.99. At the bottom of the screen also have the US dollar index, copper, nickel, and palladium. You can pause the screen and jot those numbers down if you're interested. So to get into answering some of those questions I had in the intro, started working on this Excel worksheet here several years ago when I first got into precious metals. I also use similar workbooks for my stock portfolio, my Forex accounts, and crypto accounts. I'm also a shareholder of Marathon Petroleum, Smith & Wesson, a few other, just dividend stocks, dividend companies. So you can see at the very bottom of the screen, there's a few other tabs on here. I'm not quite comfortable sharing most of that publicly just yet. I might make a video one day about it, just not really anytime soon. And I know these chart videos don't get a whole lot of views, but to me it's something important to go over, and it's something that I think maybe could help someone new into the hobby. I know a lot of other channels don't really talk about charts and show information like this. I guess that's probably for a good reason. I mean, I guess I'm probably legally obligated to say that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I fit and weld pipe for a living in South Louisiana. So there's probably about a half dozen people watching this video. It's probably as amazed I can even turn a computer on. But to get into these charts here, I've been tracking this information probably about at least a year and a half. I can expand the gold chart and the silver charts out all the way to about a year and a half ago. The platinum price, not so much. Platinum is just something I just recently started tracking. In the prices to the left, you can see I started tracking it on June 6th. That comes directly from the Kitco app. Once a week, I look up the Kitco app and I update this straight from the Kitco app off my phone. Before June 6th, I went back through the trading view charts and just jotted down the weekly closing prices. But in the charts themselves, I've tried it different ways. I looked at 6-week averages, 8-week averages. I tried it looking at it 10-week averages, 12-week averages. But somehow when I really started looking at it, the 90-week averages made the most sense. So you can see the dips and patterns in it a lot better with 90-week average. So as I explained in previous videos, I use the bid closing prices. I found that the bid closing prices is best for tracking the value of your physical stack, and it's best to use the ask price when you're looking at online deals or your local dealers to see when you're looking for a good deal when you're buying physical metal. Use the ask price from Kitco rather than using contract prices and higher prices, and it's easier to calculate your premiums off the ask price. But before I started making my own charts, I actually would go on the Kitco app and you can narrow it down to a 200-day average, and you can look at dips and things from there and find out when's the best time to buy by looking at dips on a 200-day average. But when I started making my own charts, there's really no reason for anyone to be that in tune to the market unless you're like operating a shop and you're selling, constantly selling things and people in and out. You're constantly moving metal. That you might want to pay attention to intraday prices, but just as just for my personal collection, I find just tracking it once a week at the end of the week, that just works best for me. And this would be more similar to using, instead of a 200-day average, this would be more similar to like a 60-day average. So to answer the questions, am I doing the right thing by putting money into precious metals? Well, the answer is yes. Are there ways to know if I'm paying a fair price? Yeah, that answer is also yes. I'd like to give a special thanks to all the channel subscribers. And if you haven't already, please leave a like, comment if you don't mind. And if you're feeling generous and would like to help someone, I have a few links in the description below. Thank you, I really appreciate it.